Hey y'all, oh happy day. We are back with another episode of the Positive Thoughts series. And in this episode, we will be focusing on our topic, which is don't believe everything you think. We pulled this from the Positive Thoughts jar. So I think we're on a steady pace to be pulling stuff from the Positive Thoughts jars. I think this is where we are. But here's our Positive Thoughts jar. Here's our card. So we're gonna go ahead and get into the topic of today. I'm so happy that you're here. Let's get into it. All right, so our topic of today is don't believe everything that you think. I think this is a really good topic because sometimes we get caught up in negative thoughts. It happens to the best of us, and I think that we really need to really break this down. So this is the Positive Thoughts series, right? And sometimes you'll have your days, and I even still have my days where I might get into a negative thoughts mindset. And so when you're in those negative thoughts mindsets, it's important that you don't believe everything you think. And even if it's not like, it could be a situation at hand, a small situation, it's very possible to get into a mindset to where you're starting to think really badly about things, whatever the case may be. So this topic is basically helping us to, again, continue to shift our mindset. And anytime we find ourselves thinking negatively, thinking positively, right? So that's our topic. That's the explanation. Let's get into some examples. So I think another thing that we could talk about when we get into don't believe everything you think. So a clear example, you may have done this, you may have not. Some days you might wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, I look so fat. If you haven't done that, I sure have. Or you may have woke up and you're just like, I look so ugly today. Don't believe everything you think. And I think that one thing that I literally just said this week that I want to start implementing, I want to stop with the negative self-talk. Because when you're in that negative self-talk, you might not even realize it can start to actually come out and present as something that your mind believes, right? And I think I was watching this video that was basically just saying you have to be careful what you tell your mind and what you put out there, because your mind can't differentiate between what's real and what's not sometimes. And so I literally said I'm done with the negative self-talk. If I feel like I look fat today, I'm just gonna say I look good today. If I feel like I don't look my best today, I'm going to say I look good. I'm just going to continue to put that energy out, and I'm going to just continue to uplift myself in every single situation. Even if I feel like I'm not where I'm at with my body goals, I'm going to be like, oh, I'm my body goals. I'm going to continue to put that positive energy out, because I don't want to be comfortable enough to say something negatively about myself, because again, it could come back out and I could literally start believing that, and sometimes I'll even see this present in situations where it's like, oh, I thought I was healed from this trauma, and it comes out and I really have to snap out of it. And I'm like, no, I can't believe that. I have to, know that this is not a fact. Right. And so, sometimes that happens to the best of us. I did a series at church, and it was called, What Happened to You? And he talked about the traumas and stuff that we experience, and how, it happens to where sometimes those traumas come out, but we have to shift our mindset instead of to what's wrong with a person to, what happened to them. Right. And so when you think about this card and not believing everything you think, instead of thinking oh, they're just a messed up person, this is something that you can even really be thinking no, maybe they're not a messed up person. Maybe they just have something going on. Something happened to them to where they're like that. So, you're not thinking they're the worst person in the world, but maybe they just are going through something. And so I think that's one piece of it, but it's also, being able to tell yourself when you have those situations, like, you know what, this is not true. And then another piece of this is like, you ever had somebody say something about you and you're just like, that's not true. Like, but then you started to think about it like, dang, maybe it is true. Like, like that's even a good way to really like take this card and take it to the next level and just, not believe what you think. Because I think sometimes, what people say to us and what they do, it can present to us in a way to where we start thinking like, man, am I like that? You know what I mean? So I really like this card because you can literally just tell yourself in those moments, like, nope, don't believe it, not a fact, and switch the narrative and start thinking more positively. So like I was saying, like some days I might wake up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so fat. Like I might think that, but I'm just going to switch the narrative and I'm going to just say, no, I look good. Like, you know what I mean? And also, another example of this is like, I've been seeing a lot of, people saying that they suffer from what's called imposter syndrome. And so I don't know that I could say I've actually experienced it, but from what I hear, imposter syndrome is, feeling like you should be somewhere else. And that's also another example of not believing what you think, because I really truly feel like everybody is exactly where they should be. As long as you're putting in the work and you're working towards whatever it is, you're exactly where you should be and where God intended you to be, right? And so I think it can be hard for us to, get in a mindset to where we're starting to think like, oh, I should be so much further ahead. But actually, maybe not. Maybe you are exactly where you should be right now. I've seen this post online, and it basically talks about how a year from today, the work that you put in today will determine, where you're going to be a year from today. And if you look backwards, you can say, oh, I'm where I'm at today because of the work I did a year ago, right? So I can also look at this and just say, I know that I'm in a more healthier mindset because I put in the work and I did the work. And so, like I'm literally like, I know that I could be better, so I decided to be better. That's kind of going off the topic, but anyway, there might be times where it's like, oh, dang, maybe I'm not exactly where I should be, but maybe you are. You're exactly where you should be, right? And you shouldn't be thinking about it in where it's like you're not where you want to be or where you should be. So don't believe everything that you think. The mind sometimes can trick us, and that's also what they talked about in church, is like sometimes it's the devil like trying to get you off track, like because you could be doing very well and something might tell you, oh no, you're not doing well, when in actuality you are doing really well. You just have to let those negative thoughts go away. Like just be like, go away. Like I don't believe that. That's not true. I know exactly what I'm doing today, and I know that that's going to show and what I'm continuing to do. So our topic of today, don't believe what you think, right? Our examples is how something negative can come up, but it's literally something that is not true, and we can switch it into a more positive thought. Instead of allowing that negative thought come out of our mouths, you know how they say, the tongue is very powerful. Instead of allowing that to come out of our mouths, start to think about it and start to say something more positively. So when you have a negative thought, switch that thought into something more positively. And that pretty much will help you with shifting more positively. This is all about just doing the work. It sounds like, it could come off as something that may seem like it's hard to do, but it's really not. It's very easy to do. It's something that it takes some work and it takes some practice. But if you're committed to truly shifting into a more positive mindset, it's as simple as just doing it, right? Like Nike says, just do it. So anytime something comes up that you know is wrong, like you should be able to call it out. Like, you know what, this is wrong, this is not true. Like, no, I'm not XYZ, whatever your brain might come out to be. Like, if you feel like you're not where you want to be, like that's just not true. Think about it in terms of, actually, I'm exactly where God wants me to be. Like, I'm exactly where I should be in this life. And yeah, if you can think it, you can achieve it, right? So don't believe everything you think. If it's something negative, switch it to something more positive. And I hope that you'll start implementing this. Let me know what you thought about this positive thought of today. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.